These sites cater to over 50 million people in the US and are some of the world's biggest non-gaming apps.
Why does he have to do this now? Why does he have to do adverts for, of course I prefer gaming apps. Fortnite, that's a lot of fun. OnlyFans. What, sorry? Oh, no, I don't like that. Coronavirus is now such an ordinary part of everyday life that dating apps are adapting to incorporate it into our courtship rituals. Would you like to meet someone who is corona safe? Well, you can.
If you're on a dating app looking for love, being vaccinated against the coronavirus could get you more right swipes.
What an interesting way to mobilise that idea. Like, who's this being made for? Who's watching this and thinking, with the main thing on their mind being, oh God, I could do with some right swipes, but I just don't know what to do about it. Should I become a better person? Should I develop some interests and hobbies to make me a better catch? Or is it time for the old jibbity jab?
That message was relayed to Americans on Friday by Andy Slavitt, as his cohorts, Dr. Anthony Fauci and CDC Director Rochelle Walensky, giggled behind him.
Social distancing and dating were always a bit of a challenging combination. So today, dating sites like Bumble, Tinder, Hinge, Match.
I don't like seeing a person who's dealing with this pandemic, which is a globally contentious issue, blithely reciting the names of Bumble, Bum Chums, Diddly Eye Chai, Sticky Willies. Whoops, didn't mean it, honey. What? It's undermining the entire situation there.
OkCupid, BLK, Chispa, Plenty of Fish, and Badoo.
It gets worse. Plenty of fish, as in plenty of fish in the sea, and Badoo. They're doing like an advert for dating apps, and then there's like this sort of southern severity. Remember, bearing in mind that, potentially the information we've been given about the origin of the virus is dubious, bearing in mind that none of us are certain or confident that the relationships between government and pharmaceutical companies are healthy, that their lobbying exists, indemnity from prosecution in the event of illnesses, diseases, or even death as a result of the jabs. Those things are all sort of somewhat opaque and baffling. To see them suddenly slap on a happy face and mobilise dating apps as a tool for propaganda is somewhat troubling.
Are announcing a series of features to encourage vaccinations and help people with that help people meet people who have that universally attractive quality. They've been vaccinated against COVID-19.
Anthony Fauci's doing some tells up there in the corner. He's like, oh God, this is too much. I've gone too far. What are we doing? There's no question that coronavirus has become, I think, unduly politicized. Some people have, on either side of the issue or across the spectrum of the issue, have pretty sort of strong views. And I suppose now to see this kind of glib tone deployed is troubling. I feel that really how we should be handling this is like sensible adults, recognising that people have different priorities, different perspectives, noticing the kind of challenges that it throws up when we don't have a great deal of trust in governments or pharmaceutical companies, and we're invited to engage in a process that for some people seems highly important and necessary, and for others seems difficult to accept. This shouldn't be a time of polarization, accusation and incrimination. This should be a time of tolerance and understanding. In fact, when is it not a time for those things?
These sites cater to over 50 million people in the US and are some of the world's biggest non-gaming apps.
Why does he have to do this now? Why does he have to do adverts for, of course I prefer gaming apps. Fortnite, that's a lot of fun. OnlyFans. What, sorry? Oh, no, I don't like that.
According to one of the sites, OkCupid, people who display their vaccination status are 14% more likely to get a match.
You can see the uneasy brinkmanship in suggesting that, apps like Tinder are not used for people trying to find love. They're trying to find a different four-letter word. Hold on, L-O-V-E. Yeah, a different four-letter word. You know it. We don't have to spell it out. We're all grown-ups here.
We have finally found the one thing that makes us all more attractive: a vaccination.
It's difficult not to see this as well as a wholehearted endorsement of dating apps by the government. Dating apps is a big tech business. What's next? Oh, get your vaccine and you can have a free roll on betting sites, or get your vaccine and we'll give you free access to Pornhub or OnlyFriends. Dating apps are, for one thing, objectifying people, right? I mean, look, maybe that's sort of simple, but possibly encourage a simplistic and reductive attitude to people that you're looking to date. There are some dating sites which are more about hooking up, shall we say, and you can have your own opinion about whether that's right or wrong. I've gone through a variety of opinions about it myself in my own life, let me tell you. But the fact that the government is mobilising it, I think, for a cheap propagandist advantage, shows the kind of cynicism that operates at that level of administration.
These dating apps will now allow vaccinated people to display badges which show their vaccination status.
This is soft propaganda. This is what this is. You hear about this from time to time. You can't full on go. We all saw how the people took the COVID passports idea, right? People were like, hold on a minute, this seems like ID cards. This is going to be used to entrench economic disparity. This could become racialized due to sort of social, political conditions. Hang on. So look, the next wave of it is, hey, Tinder, funny bunnies, sticky winkies.
Filter specifically to see only people who are vaccinated and offer premium content, details of which I cannot get into.
What do you mean by that? Why can't you get into what kind of premium content? What could that be? What could that? Oh, you've had a jab, have you? Maybe you should meet the downstairs gang.
But apparently they include things like boosts and super swipes.
Just to be clear, I have no strong opinion on whether or not people have a coronavirus jab. This is something that people should be absolutely allowed to determine and decide for themselves without judgment either way. That's my opinion on it, and if you don't agree with my opinion, you can put in the comments below, or you can do nothing at all. You could do whatever you want, because that's what this is meant to be, remember, a democracy. But I suppose what I feel about something like this is God, man, I guess I prefer my tyranny up front.
From free drinks to free money.
If you needed one more good reason, then just go out and get vaccinated for your chance to win a share of this $2 million.
Look, if you're confident that it's the right thing to do, you don't need to offer people money and sex in order to do it. Surely it should be enough that it offers protection from the coronavirus. That's enough. If I were in a position that I wanted to get a jab or didn't want to get a jab, the decision would be based on, is it effective in preventing the disease? Yeah. I also, though, can have some money and some sex. No, that's your problem. Do that elsewhere. Also, who's this guy? What's he adding to the conversation? Also, if that's not enough of an incentive, free money and free sex, also protection from coronavirus, here's my friend L-Bomb. That's right. L-Bomb, what have you got to say? If you know what you want to do, why not get jabs number 1 and 2? The first one works, the second one's better. Don't be a coronavirus getter.
Single, vaccinated, and ready to mingle. Many who are looking for a little post-pandemic love are listing their vaccine status in their online dating profiles.
Someone is vaccinated, I will for sure swipe right.
If I were single, then I probably would only go out on dates with people who were already vaccinated, preferably even have had the second dose.
Well, given that your glasses are so ridiculously steamed up, you're going to need all of the information you can get. You're going to need people to read it out to you.
States are pulling out all the stops to get more shots in arms. The White House hooking up with several dating apps.
Dating, it might be assumed, is a coital or at least courtship process, a procedure that could lead to conjugal activity. So, of course, we've long understood the necessity for reproductive hygiene and protection from potential STDs. To mobilize people's sexual desires, people's carnality, and to try and to connect that to the coronavirus program, which should stand on its own merits as a rational scientific procedure or not stand on its own merits. I'd be fine if like Calvin Klein or some like sexy brand were doing something like this. I'd think, what are you doing? What are you doing? If it was Coca-Cola, it's the government.
According to dating coach and matchmaker Tanisha Wood, the dramatic shift in our way of life and thinking has caused people to get a lot more serious.
A lot of singles have taken the time in the last year to really sit with themselves.
Oh, they've been sitting with themselves, all right. Right, I'm just going to have a little sit with myself and think about the coronavirus.
The pandemic has even caused dating to go a little old school in the modern age.
I really think that we're going through a dating renaissance right now.
We're going through a dating renaissance. I, for example, have created this magnificent marble statue of a perfect adolescent boy, and, well, I've done some wonderful work on my ceiling. What have you done? Had a jab and had it off with someone I just met on Bumble. Ah, you died too soon, Raphael. You died too soon.
Natasha Sharma says it may create new issues as well.
My concern is, will this create unnecessary sorts of tension and also, make it even more divisive?
Yes, it will make it more divisive. Of course it will make it more divisive. All of this conflict, this generation of oppositionism is not good for any of us. What's required around coronavirus is transparency, clarity, honesty, absolute objectivity around the roles of pharmaceutical companies and government agencies, the way the information is issued, and the use of propaganda such as this and alliances with big tech brands that have no concern other than making money, in addition to the alliances with pharmaceutical companies, is not going to engender trust. And treating it like it's some glib, humorous, jaunty little game might be okay for comedians, but when it's the government doing it, I would say it's further cause for deep mistrust. Not necessarily on the issue of whether or not you are inoculated. You do that based on what you think is best for you, your family, the people you care about and love, but from a perspective of openness and transparency, not from one of condemnation, partisanship and bizarre affiliation and alliance on something which should be wholly pragmatic. If you like this video, please press like and subscribe to my channel. I make these kind of things all the time. If you've got any comments, comment below. Let's stay in communication with one another. We want a dialogue, don't we? We don't want to create a world where people are judging one another. We want to accept and love one another. Swipe right! Swipe right! And also, why don't you sign up to my mailing list as well, and you can get information about live shows. I'm doing some live shows that you might be interested in as well. Cheers.